Hello viewers, Super GT here. It's been a while, but we're jumping back into the world of Gran Turismo 7. And this is probably going to go quite horrifically because I am in top split and I have not done any practice. In fact, I haven't played the game in about 10 days. Alright, let's jump in. I suppose the real question here is, how well can I do without any practice? In top split lobby here, I have not done even one lap, not even one corner. So this could be interesting. It could also be really boring. Who knows? Let's hope it's not really boring. As we begin the race, we're also going to go on board with the car behind me, the Mazda Atenza, driven by the Dutchman Damien Chafe. And we can keep an eye on his progress through the pack. Now, as I mentioned, this was top split. And to be honest, this was a very high quality set of players here. The strength of field was pretty good. And even from first place all the way down to last place, there were some good players, plus me. Imagine that. But here we go. Grand Valley Speedway, or Grand Valley Highway 1, should I actually say. This is a remake of the original circuit, the classic. As you can see, it's getting rather congested here on the highway. Many cars battling and vying for position on this first lap. Now I'm about to lose a couple of positions here as I turn left into a right-hander. And boom, I'm grazing myself across the wall, and you can see by my rather muted response, I wasn't particularly happy with that moment, as I now sit in a lovely 16th out of 16. And I suppose this is one of the key themes or trends of this video, which is coming back to a game after a while away. I haven't played the game for like 10, 11 days, something like that. As Damien goes up another position, 2 positions for him on this open lap. And therefore, when you come back to a game after a few moments away, you know, do you lose that 5%? Do you lose a bit of skill? Are you not quite back to where you were before? Those are the questions I'm trying to answer here. Now, luckily enough, this Grand Valley Highway race has come up a few times in recent months, and therefore I'm somewhat familiar with it. But it's always hard to jump in when these guys have been doing the daily race for the past couple of days. Now we're going to jump into the pit lane nice and early. Okay, I have no idea what the strategy is here. I just followed everyone in. Lots of people on the hard tyre here. 1 lap on hard. Let's do the rest on mediums. Don't refuel. Let's go. And that is pretty much the meta strategy these days, to go onto the hardest available tyre and then swap onto the softer tyre as soon as you can, really. As soon as is realistic to get you to the end of the race. And as I say, I have not done this race yet this week, and therefore I didn't really know the exact strategy, so I kind of just followed everyone in. I suppose that is one advantage of being at the back of the pack. You can kind of pay attention to what everyone else is doing and then kind of just copy them. That's exactly what we're doing here. Up behind F1 Slayers in the Porsche. Porsche tending to be a good car, especially on tyre wear, and it's just a well-balanced car, especially through this middle sector. We can take a look here, because the Supra, we all know, is very good in a straight line. The main straight here at Grand Valley is fairly lengthy, and therefore the Supra is always going to be a good shout down there into the braking zone at turn 1. However, through this twisty middle sector, this is where this car really suffers. And I'm struggling now already to stay on course, on target, to keep up with F1 Slayers in the Porsche. This is an important lap though, because if we take a quick look at the map, you can see there's 2 groups. The group at the back, which I'm in, at the back of, then the group at the front, who are just about to pit or haven't pitted yet. And we are really in a race against each other. And so this lap still needs to be quick. And you can see on the top left of the screen, lots of cars going into the pit lane. So some cars going for 1 lap on hard, some going for 2. I guess there might be a couple going for 3, but we shall see. Streaming through the final sector, into the tunnel, turning in for this final corner just as you enter the tunnel pretty much. Let's take a look at the Mazda of Damien, going past Wind. A couple of cars coming out the pit lane here. Look at this, very, very close indeed. The undercut has worked for him. He's going to go up into the top 10. And I'm going to go up into 14th. So I'm not last anymore. And here, he's going to get pinched up against the wall. on the exit of turn 1, perhaps left it in there when he might have wanted to just back out slightly, but he's going to lose a position as a result of that to wind, going back down to 10th. Still not a bad start. 15th to 10th, Damien in 2 laps. So now I am in 14th, a bit of a gap back to Mohammed in the Subaru there in 15th, and we're just going to try and make our way onto the back of this group in front, try and make some inroads, try and make some overtaking moves on some of these guys here. So Damien, let's see his progress. He's in the middle of the pack there. Quite a closely fought battle, this one, and this was the thing that really impressed me about this race, really, was that I've just jumped on for my first race on a Wednesday night. It's like 10:30, and all of a sudden you've got these very good players all racing very closely, and that's a very good sign of the balance of the lobby. Everyone is quite closely matched. I'm going to go around the outside here of F1 Slayers, or at least attempt to. It's not going to be an easy move on the same set of tyres. It's possible to do that outside move. Thought better of it. We're going to stick behind for now. Perhaps wait for the straight, which is coming up. Some puffs of smoke from the pack in front. There is contact, and you see just how close that battle is. I mean, the Mazda here right in the thick of it in 10th place. Let's see what he can do about trying to move up a couple of positions. I'm going to get into the slipstream of Slayers and move out to the left hand side and get 13th position. And the Mazda here, very, very close fighting indeed, in towards the braking zone of turn 1. Doesn't outbrake himself. A little bit of contact there with wind, but on the exit, respect shown. Look at that, really close up against the barrier as they race side by side down the hill. He's now up into 7th place, so making really good progress. And you know what, this is actually really reminiscent of some of the karting I've done in the past, where you have a very, very closely knit pack in the middle of the field. And if you make a little mistake, you very quickly go backwards. Whereas if you have a slight pace advantage, you can quite quickly go forward. And the Mazda there of Damien making that case quite clear that he has a bit of an advantage and he is tending to move forward. Matthew with a mistake. We're bumped from behind. Wasn't sure where to go. Luckily he ghosted out. Going to gain a position but also lose one here to Slayers again. A bit of an iffy moment as Matthew in the Mercedes having a bit of a sideways moment and losing control of the car. And as a result of that, you can see we've just lost touch with the pack in front. I've got a McLaren on my tail now, and we're going to try this move around the outside in the Mazda. Well, I'm not. Damien is. He's actually going to pull it off. This was the move I was looking at doing on the previous lap against Slayers there in the Porsche. Didn't quite work on that occasion. But the Mazda making it work. So through the final corner, Slayers is going to make a big mistake. I wasn't sure which side to go, losing a bit of momentum trying to decide which side. Eventually go for the left, and it was the right side to go, thankfully, up into 10th. And as a result of that poor run onto the straight, Slayers is going to have a slow run here. And I'm going to have a fairly clear run, albeit, you know, he's quite close behind, but he's not going to be able to overtake me here into turn 1. I'm into the top 10 though, and that's quite good so far. From 14th up to 10th in a high quality lobby. Lots of very fast players here as we hurtle down the hill. And lots of Brits in here. I don't know if this is something to do with the way the game sort of decides who to put into a lobby. If it connects people who live closer to you for a better connection, or if it is just loads of British players playing this game these days. I don't really know how this is working. But the main thing is that we are having a good race. And once again, just trying to pull onto the back of this group, making sure we don't lose touch through this middle sector. And this is where we can definitely lose touch with that group. But the Supra isn't particularly at its strongest through these slower corners. It's definitely on the straights where this car excels. As we go for the longer left into the longer right onto this back straight, crucial to get the acceleration point right here before the change of tarmac. Accelerating perhaps a bit too early, back end wanting to come round, but we're okay. Slayer's quite close behind, but not close enough to go for this move into the tunnel. And the fact that these guys are fighting really is giving me a lot more impetus to keep up here. And this could be an overtaking chance here onto the main straight. The Supra able to fully unleash its power and its speed here. So 3 cars in front in the slipstream of each other. And it looks like the Greek player in 7th place is a bit of a cork in the bottle at the moment. So M. Williams, which side is going to go? He's going to cover kind of the middle. I'm going to go to the right-hand side. A bit of contact as we go from the left into the braking point of the right of turn number 1, or I guess it might even be turn 2 officially. And really good racing. Williams are able to keep it around the outside. Slightly more gentle line, gets on the power a bit earlier. Porsche is very good at putting down its power as well. And so I'm not quite able to complete the move. But look at this pack in front. There's about a good nine of us here. I think Calster at the front is beginning to edge clear. But it is a very close race. 5.8 seconds to the lead of the race. And I am in 10th. And I still have cars immediately behind me. So a very, very well-matched lobby here. And that's, you know, just really pleasing to be part of. And Heaton here going to make a mistake on the exit of the tight left. And a bit of contact through this more gentle left. But eventually, I think he does actually concede the position. And Damien up another position, up into 4th. He's just really slowly but surely making his way through the pack. And that really is the difference. You know, there really are fine differences between kind of getting stuck in the pack, which I am, and being able to just exert yourself on the rest of the field and just be able to just get into slightly better positions and get those overtakes done. So here, is this going to be a chance to gain a position? I think we're in a good distance behind Josh Manville here, who's in the Porsche. He's definitely going to have a straight line speed disadvantage against the Supra. So we're going to put up to the right hand side. I want the inside for the big braking zone, ideally. But unfortunately for me, this is where we're going to make a bit of a mistake. Trying to brake a bit too late. Broke on the 300 board into the back of M. Williams, who's the innocent bystander in all of this, and is unfortunately going to lose a position or two. Well, he's going to lose 1 position as a result of that, but also a fair chunk of time, which is going to take a fair amount to recover. And I've also lost a position to Mohammed and Josh. Well, you could argue whether or not I lost a position to Josh, as I could have really now been in 9th, but now I'm in 11th. So, as we kind of just touched upon a moment ago, these fine differences really do matter. And, you know, if you don't make the overtake work, you can lose position instead of gaining one. That's a position swing of like 2 positions, effectively. So now 8.3 seconds off the lead. Calster doing a very good job at the front of the pack. I'm beginning to stretch somewhat clear. So I'm back into 11th. Slayer's right behind. We're going to skip forward slightly here to the end of lap number 7. And you see the difference in speed here between the Subaru and the Supra. Massive difference. Yes, I do have the slipstream, but it's not even close. We're going to try and outbrake him here. He does actually a really good job of sweeping around the outside, keeping the position. And he's got the nice outside line there. I'm not going to be able to get past. But we're still going to look for an opportunity. The Subaru doesn't seem too strong around this circuit. And it isn't usually one of the stronger cars in Group 3. We're going to go for this move here. Into the hairpin. Slightly later on the brakes. Letting off the brake. Hitting the apex. There was a bit of contact between us, but I think it was a good move. Back into the top 10 position. It's a case of just really trying to get back onto this group in front. They are fighting. There's puffs of smoke being kicked up into the air. And therefore, it looks like we can potentially cash back up as they start to defend against each other. We're getting into the latter stages of the race. However, I do have a bit of an issue here through this middle sector. I wasn't sure if it was my tyres, as they are beginning to go off. But I was receiving a couple of taps in the rear end, just thinking, perhaps, yeah, my pace isn't here quite at this phase of the race. And if you take a quick look behind, he is very, very close indeed. In fact, pretty much pushing me down this straight. And I was thinking he would go for this move here, but he didn't quite want to go for it. Perhaps thinking of the straight that's about to come up. And the fact that the Supra will be no match for the Subaru. Or I should have said that the other way around. The Subaru will be no match for the Supra. As you can see here. Managing to pull away quite convincingly on the straight, even without slipstream. That is, you know, really just showing you the supremacy of the Supra in a straight line. So lap number 9, we're going to overtake Wind here, who gets caught up in something, maybe just a self-inflicted error. I wasn't quite sure what that was, but we're going to gain another position up into 9th. So that's 5 positions gained so far in this race, which is not too bad. As we touched upon earlier, first race back for a while, trying to get accustomed to the race and not quite sure exactly how much fuel saving or tyre saving I should do. Wasn't quite sure of the strategy, and so I kind of just pushed and hoped it would be enough. And you can see the front left tyre is quite low. We do have 1 lap left, but I think I should be able to make it right the way to the end. Damien catching up with this battle for second, so he's done a really good job going from 15th into 4th, fighting for a podium on the final lap. So we're going to cross the line here, and I kind of sense that this Greek player in 8th was quick, but also someone that I could potentially overtake and gain another position here on this last lap. 7th place, not impossible either. At the same time, we mustn't forget that we have Mohammed got max power just behind as well. So quite close battling. If I make a mistake, I could easily go backwards. Damien with a bit of mistake there, drifting wide down the hill and then slightly outbraking himself into the hairpin, looking for that 3rd place. And here, just notice got max power behind, getting the position 10th behind. So that kind of gave me something different to focus upon, as I hadn't really directly fought with max power throughout this race, and it looks like he's got good pace here at this moment. Now Damien up the inside, let's see what he does. Bit of contact, bit of a messy moment between these 3, but it resolves itself in one ball leader remaining in 2nd. Very good drive from him to stay at the front of the pack. And as we head out onto the back straight, onto the bridge for the final time, max power, very close indeed, and I was just quite worried because he did catch up very quickly there in the Grello Porsche 911. And it looks like he had a tyre advantage. Perhaps I think he was one of the people to go in at the end of lap 3, so he's got a 2-lap tyre advantage here at the end of the race. I'm struggling for grip on the exit. Try not to get that penalty, which you can easily get on the exit of that chicane. Thankfully, it's going to be just enough. I think I'm going to finish here in 9th position, and that might seem like a very average result, but you know what, I think for the first time back in a while, it was a very good race, and one that I very much enjoyed being part of. Whew. Alright, that was pretty good actually. I think 14th to 9th in that quality of a lobby. Say sorry to M. Williams there, because I did hit him very wide. You know what, I think this highlights how good Gran Turismo can be sometimes. When you just log on, I've just logged on randomly here at 10:30. A bunch of very, very good players are jumping onto this race. It was a good quality race there, good, very close racing, and that's always good to be part of. The thing I'll take away from this one is that my pace wasn't too bad, given that I haven't played the game in 10 days. These guys have been playing this daily race, I would presume, for the last couple of days, because it's Wednesday as I record this. So I'm quite happy with the overall pace there. Albeit a couple of mistakes, and I think that's the main thing you'll notice, guys, when you jump away from the game for a few days or a week or even a month. You come back, your pace might be there, but you may be a little bit rusty. Some of your decision making isn't quite right. But thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.